Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So, last 2 weeks we talked about warm-up, general warm-up, specific warm-up. The next 3 sessions are going to be on stretching. And the reason there are 3 is because there are really 3 basic types of stretching. There's static stretching, dynamic stretching, and then what's known as proprioceptive neurological facilitation, or PNF stretching, which we'll save toward the end. Each have their own specific place and a reason for doing them. Static stretching, which we'll talk about first, is often misconstrued as warm-up. Some people think it prevents injury. It does not. Static stretching has one single purpose, and that is to increase your overall range of motion. Okay? So we're going to presume, for the sake of today, that you've already done all your jumping jacks, you've jumped rope, you've done the TRX, you've done your push-ups, you're warmed up. Your body has some blood flow in it. Now you want to increase your flexibility. So I have one of my students, Hal Nelson, come on in. He just came to work out today, so he was doing the stretching. I said, hey, let's go ahead and do that. So if you want to sit and just go through the stretching here facing that way, okay, which is, I know, kind of different. You just start over where you were. So static stretching, as he does this, basically entails holding a muscle in an elongated position for 15 to 30 seconds at a time and allowing that muscle to be pushed past its normal comfort zone. So whatever, if let's say I could raise my arm this high, I would raise it a little higher and that pushes it past the comfort zone. Maybe I can touch my shins as I reach down. So I want to push it a little further and then hold that for 15 to 30 seconds, give or take. The point of this again is that in holding the elongated position just a little bit past your comfort, and again, we don't want to go to pain, we just want discomfort. Pain varies for some people. What might be uncomfortable for one person could be very painful for somebody else. So it's a sliding scale. The idea is we put ourselves into a position and we hold it for a period of time to allow that muscle to relax once it's in that uncomfortable position. Okay? Static stretching, again, is not a warm-up. Technically, the best use of static stretching is a cool down after a workout. We don't usually do that in a class setting, but in your individual workouts, it's a great place to put it, is to cool down afterwards. After a workout, you've warmed up. Your body temperature is elevated, your core temperature is high, the circulation to your extremities is high. So if you use it at the end, when your muscles are already pliable, as we talked about a couple of videos ago, then you can allow it to cool down in that elongated position, and it's a great time to increase your flexibility. We put it sometimes in the warm-up in a class, and we habituate ourselves to stretching before a workout, again, under the misconception that it's a warm-up to sit and stretch like this, or that it is preventing injury. What it's doing is increasing range of motion, period, the end. I told a story a couple of weeks ago about the wrestling tournament where there were several teams that were all out moving, shooting singles, rolling around on the floor, getting their bodies ready to move, and one team that ran a couple laps and then sat and static stretched. And I predicted correctly that they would lose the tournament because they were predisposing their bodies to not move while the others were preparing for movement. In the same way that if I just stretched my arm back here for a while and then tried to go and throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, I would injure myself. So in no way would that prevent injury to do static stretching. In fact, it would increase the likelihood of injury if I immediately then go into a dynamic movement. So put in its proper place. Usually we focus on our legs, but it could be stretching our upper bodies and hold in a given position, stretching the shoulders, holding in a given position, even stretching the wrists, pressing through, stretching the biceps and the forearms, and holding in those positions to increase the range of motion and have more available mobility as we continue our workouts. So static stretching, one focus, increase range of motion. Best use is after workout. Acceptable use is before a workout, as long as it's a part of a more general overall movement system. Ronnie Nix, the head of Ryukoku Seidokan and our main guy on Okinawa, the head of our organization, does his static stretching positions, but he will do them with dynamic movement. And dynamic Stretching is for next week's topic. So thanks again for joining today's Seidokan Saturday. Increase your range of motion, increase the available mobility of your joints and muscles, and you'll increase your performance level overall. Until next week, keep practicing.